Hey, I have some announcements on Stop Killing Games. And I'm going to be looking away a lot because my mind tends to go blank when I look into the camera, and I don't want to memorize this. Okay, the breaking news. The European Citizens Initiative has crossed 1 million signatures. Except it hasn't. This is going to kill morale, but there are two things going on here. The first we knew was coming. Every time somebody makes a mistake when they sign the initiative, their signature gets invalidated. So that means we need more signatures to make up for everybody's mistakes. It kind of reminds me of multiplayer games when you see somebody who just has no idea what they're doing, like they're attacking a wall or something. So in this case, we need to pick up the slack for the people who literally can't write their own name properly. That could be a lot. I've heard 10% minimum, 20% is better, 40% should be really safe. Or it would be, but we have a second problem. I've received several reports of people claiming to spoof signatures on the initiative site. First off, I want to say that this is not a change.org petition. This is a government process. Spoofing signatures on it is a crime. Please do not do this. They'll be checked later by the EU Commission, and my guess is the fake ones will get turned over to Europol or Interpol and they'll follow up on this. If it's coming from America, Interpol is known to cooperate a lot with the FBI. Now, will they prosecute people on this? I have no idea. Europe takes its political processes pretty seriously, so I would think the more it's being spoofed, the more they might send law enforcement after people doing this. Again, I would not suggest doing this. It seems like a bad thing to risk going to prison over. But the problem here is I am now in a complete fog as to how much this affects the initiative. Now don't worry, none of this will invalidate the initiative. All legitimate signatures will still count. But that 1 million number? Yeah, it might not be real. I think we have at least 600, 700,000 real signatures. Beyond that, I don't know. Maybe it's just one or two people who tried it and this is nothing to worry about. Or maybe it's a sophisticated botnet spoofing hundreds of thousands of signatures. I have no clue. In fact, I noticed a few days ago, we were getting a good rise in the day European time, but then it would fall off a lot at night because people were going to bed. Now it seems like it's rising a lot through the night. So maybe most of this is an illusion now. We may not have won anything. I have to give credit where it's due. I was looking forward to reaching a safe margin and putting this behind me. But now I guess I have to keep this up until July 31st because now there's no such thing as a safe margin. I have no idea what's real now. So, for people who hate the initiative, you got me. This makes my life harder, and now I'm on the hook even longer. I will be so happy for this campaign to end. Actually, if you're really good at data analysis, I'd say try to look at those first couple days around June 24th and 25th, especially when Moist Critical dropped his video. I remember seeing about a 5% increase in signatures proportional to his views. So it might be safe to assume big YouTube views translate to 5% real signatures. Maybe you can figure out what a real margin needs to be. So yeah, that sucks. We'll just keep plodding away unless we can figure out what the safe numbers are. Sorry this isn't a big victory celebration. This is just kind of suspenseful and tense instead, and will probably hurt morale of people signing. You know how in World War II, the Japanese had soldiers entrenched in a bunch of Pacific islands? Except some of them never got the memo when the war ended in 1945, so they just stayed there for years, assuming the war was still on. That's kind of where I am right now mentally. At least it all ends in a month. Okay, another announcement. We've gotten reports that some countries, I think Italy and Belgium especially, where sometimes the digital ID system didn't work. In those cases, I'd say either use the manual method, which we have instructions for on stopkillinggames.com, or you could try coming back in a few days and see if it's working. Another news item, I've been told someone has launched a cryptocurrency based on Stop Killing Games. Dumbest timeline, guys. Just so everyone's clear, that had nothing to do with us. I have no clue who would even want that. I'm sure it's a scam. So, yeah, that's all there is to it. Something else to cover quick is I've heard a couple reports of people harassing pirate software. I feel like this goes without saying, but if it doesn't, no. Of course we do not endorse harassing him. I mean, I said in my response video, I wished him no ill will, and I meant that. You know why? When people's lives are better, they tend to be less inclined to foment some sort of revenge, and I'm taking on enough heat already without adding to the pile. I mean, I'm getting some crazies heading my way too, though I can believe it's not as many. I also pointed out last time, whatever damage Thor did to the campaign has been neutralized, so whatever happens is not on him anymore. I'll also say, I don't know what the hell everyone is up to either. This is a lot bigger than me. I can barely keep up with the campaign, let alone him or all the supporters. We do have moderators in our Discord trying their best. I've literally seen them ban someone suggesting bad action against others. Beyond that, I know very little and have even less control over what the rest of the internet is up to. I'm focused on the signatures. If Thor and I never bother each other again, that is just fine by me. I also don't hold him responsible for anything his fanbase does. I'm not a fan of collective punishment. And on the flip side, Stop Killing Games is a populist movement. That's the very definition of messy. I can control that like I can control the weather. Oh, and speaking of barely keeping up, I've been having to play triage on emails and messages and prioritize the ones most critical for the campaign. So a lot of you are going to get a delayed response, but I should mostly catch up. Eventually. Okay, the final announcement. The UK government petition has cleared 100,000 signatures, and I suspect these signatures are more legit. Though you can keep on signing it too as a safety margin. More will not hurt anything. So what should we expect from this? I honestly have no idea. I would bet money on the EU initiative delivering something good if it passes, but the UK has been more about exhausting all options. I will say whatever happens cannot be worse than the old answer from the Department of Media, Culture, and Sport. Yeah, we get to leapfrog over this garbage. This really is recycled garbage. Remember, we tried to launch this last year, and they gave us an answer that was so bad it was rejected by the Petitions Committee, and they told government to try again because this didn't answer the question. But then, Parliament was dissolved, and when it came back and we relaunched again, we got the same answer copied and pasted into the new one, just rearranged a little bit. Part of me suspects all action in the UK has been held up by one grumpy bureaucrat in the department. Well, now we can ignore that crap and head straight to Parliament. I mean, they cannot do worse than this. A member of Parliament could sneeze on the petition and that would not be a worse answer. And that's the one guaranteed thing we'll get out of this, which is answers. Now, for those of you wanting to juice this further, it's been brought to my attention there's a page for finding out who your member of Parliament is if you want to reach out and tell them, yes, bring this up in Parliament. I'd say, yeah, that could help, but that absolutely is more work than signing your name, so I'm keeping my expectations in check. There's a link in the description of this video. Okay, that's it. Just keep pushing. Now we're in the fog.